Greetings, and welcome back to Old World Histories. In our last episode, we examined the general history of the Dwarfen people and then focused on the dwarf hold of Karak Hirn in the Black Mountains, from its earliest beginnings to present day, and ended with a step-by-step painting tutorial on how to paint a dwarf from the hold. Have a look at the previous episode if you have not done so already. In today's episode, we will explore the surroundings of the kingdom of Karak Hirn, but also delve into the hold itself, giving us a glimpse how dwarfen holds function and provide us a better understanding on the tactics employed in the defense and general running of such unique structures and surrounding areas, both over and underground. Dwarf holds are ruled by individual kings who owe fealty to the High King of Karak, bound by sacred oaths to answer his call to arms. Though many holds have fallen to Skaven, greenskins and worse since the Golden Age, several mighty holds still stand, thriving through trade and even managing population growth, unlike the dwindling High Elves. New holds are often founded or reclaimed by nobles whose clans can lay claim to abandoned holds, provided they can defeat the hostile invaders that occupy them. The newest holds are usually surface outposts near ore veins, often abandoned before becoming true holds due to economic challenges. However, some, like Karak Hirn, are established in defensible, resource-rich areas, attracting wandering clans and younger, more innovative dwarfs who introduce new technologies like the organ gun and gyrocopter. Yet, the finest artisans and runesmiths still hail from the ancient holds of the Golden Age. Karak Hirn is by no means a large hold, but neither is it small. According to estimates gathered from a variety of sources, this hold supposedly contains 15,000 able-bodied dwarfs, both male and female, who can bear arms and defend the hold in case of a significant threat. This number does not include the young, sick, or dwarfen females who might be with child. Therefore, the population is likely higher. As mentioned in the previous episode, although Karak Hirn has mineral wealth, it is by no means rich, at least by dwarfen standards, but Karak Hirn is strategically located where much trade flows, from the Empire of Man, the border princes, Cathay, and the dwarf capital, Karak itself. This is one of Karak Hirn's greatest assets. By ensuring a relatively safe passage to merchants and caravans, the kingdom ensures that it maintains its geostrategic and economic relevance in the area with powers far greater than its own. Although it is one of the most traveled routes through the mountains, news, trade, and interaction between different cultures most certainly occur regularly. Yet, the kings of Karak Hirn, more often than not, have favored the old ways, whereby the hold and its rulers have been far more traditional than other holds. This is in contrast to more industrious and innovative holds, such as Zhufbar. This does not mean that Karak Hirn does not possess or employ more advanced dwarfen technology, nor does it mean it cannot cooperate with other dwarfen holds, let alone other races. No, Karak Hirn honors and holds in greatest esteem its ancestors, gods, and traditions. Perhaps this was due to the original founders of the hold being refugees after the great quakes in times past. They might be cautious, doubtful, and even cold, but not ignorant. Quite the contrary, Karak Hirn honors its past, but knows that it must stay ever vigilant from threats so above as below. Dwarfen stubbornness must be ever tempered with prudence as metal must be tempered in a forge. Only this way can the leaders and clans of Karak Hirn continue to endure in the uncertain future ahead. We first shall explore the journey a traveller must undertake to reach the lands surrounding Karak Hirn, and the challenges they would face in approaching the very gates of the mighty hold itself. As with all dwarf realms, the paths to Karak Hirn are not for the faint-hearted, requiring endurance and preparation to traverse the rugged terrain of the Black Mountains. Most travellers begin their journey in the Wissenlander village of Wusterberg, a modest settlement situated near the river Söll. From here, they cross the river and continue southward, passing through the Sudenlander village of Kroppenleben, a vital waypoint where supplies are replenished before embarking on the more treacherous parts of the journey. The road narrows significantly as it climbs into the mountains, following the well-worn Icy Wind Pass, known to the dwarfs as Kadrin Werzilfin. This pass is hard-packed and metalled in several sections to ensure travellers can continue through inclement weather, though the journey remains arduous. An alternative route, the Hidden Vale Pass or Kadrin Zathragan, branches from the south, but this road is far less travelled due to the frequent presence of bandits and goblin tribes that prey on those foolish enough to venture near the border princes. To the east of Karak Hirn, the mountain road, Caradrin, connects with both the Icy Wind and Hidden Vale passes. This is the primary route for dwarf merchants travelling from the great hold of Karaza Karak, as well as from other Black Mountain strongholds such as Karak Angazar and Karak Gantuk. Meanwhile, to the west, Blackwood Pass, Kadrin Draswoodnas, connects Karak Hirn with the Wissenland settlements of Schrambeck and Sonnefurt. Stone markers and ominous gibbets line these crossroads, serving as grim warnings to bandits and other would-be attackers. The approaches to Karak Hirn are heavily fortified, with several key strongholds guarding the roads. Chief among these is Kazad Ruvalkund, a mountain fortress that overlooks the Icy Wind Pass. Perched precariously on a mountainside, Kazad Ruvalkund is linked by a stone wall to a watchtower on the opposite side of the road. Here, dwarf guards diligently monitor all who pass, while a rune scribe meticulously records the details of each traveller in copper-bound tomes for durability. Every visitor receives a writ of passage, which they must present upon request to any Dwarfen patrol. Additional fortresses, such as Kazad Dron, Kazad Hraben, and Kazad Zorn, stand watch over the Hidden Vale, Blackwood Pass, and Mountain Road, respectively, forming an interlocking network of defence. Despite these formidable defences, the lower elevations of the mountain range remain treacherous. Bandits and goblins are a constant threat, forcing most merchants to hire guards for protection. However, some mercenaries have been known to betray their charges, striking clandestine deals with the very bandits they are hired to guard against. Nonetheless, once beyond the junction of Icy Wind and Hidden Vale passes, the presence of dwarf patrols becomes more frequent, making the area significantly safer. Experienced travellers may also be able to identify hidden trails leading to both dwarf and human settlements, though some paths are perilous and riddled with traps. One such hidden route, known as Taurian Road, is a closely guarded secret among the locals and provides a direct approach to Karak Hirn's main gate. Dwarfen scouts keep constant vigil along this path, ensuring that it remains hidden from potential invaders. For most visitors, the journey to Karak Hirn concludes at the quarter-mile bridge, known to the dwarfs as Dradrin's Zorn. This imposing structure spans a deep gorge leading directly to the hold's outer gates and the merchant halls. Fortified with stone walls and arrow slits, the bridge shields travellers from the cold mountain winds while providing a formidable defensive position. In the event of an attack, hidden crossbowmen and bolt throwers can rain down fire upon assailants from secret positions. Ingeniously, a section of the bridge can be dropped at a moment's notice, sending any attackers plummeting over 600 feet to the jagged rocks below. Surrounding Karak Hirn are numerous villages and mining camps where dwarfs and humans live and work together. These settlements are typically built on high ground for defensive purposes, with terrace farming providing much of their sustenance. Grains for ale and bread are cultivated here, and advanced irrigation systems constructed by Dwarfen engineers channel fresh mountain water to the crops. Each village is fortified with stone walls, and escape tunnels run beneath the mountains, allowing the population to flee in case of attack. Local leadership is vested in elected headmen who serve 2-year terms, overseeing the daily affairs of their communities. Mining camps, more numerous than villages, are primarily inhabited by dwarfs, many of whom are descendants of those who fled persecution in the Empire. These camps are likewise fortified, with low stone walls and escape tunnels leading deeper into the mountains. Though some food is grown locally, most provisions are traded with nearby villages and passing merchant caravans. The camps are overseen by quartermasters, who manage resources and barter with traders, often exchanging raw ore or refined metal for necessary supplies. Thus, the lands surrounding Karak Hirn are a testament to the enduring resilience of the Dwarfen people. Each road, settlement, and fortress serves a purpose in both the defense of the hold and the preservation of its way of life, offering us valuable insight into the daily existence and tactical wisdom that defines the Dwarfen realms. We now delve into the heart of Karak Hirn itself, offering a rare glimpse into the inner workings of the hold. While most outsiders only ever witness the bustling merchant's hall at the hold's back entrance, dignitaries and ambassadors who come for official business with the Dwarf King are occasionally granted access to the grander hidden halls deep within the mountain. Even then, they are closely guarded by a personal dwarf escort and a contingent of warriors, ensuring that the strict protocols of Dwarfen hospitality are observed. Any breach of this trust is met with swift and unforgiving consequences, immediate expulsion and permanent banishment. The inner citadel, Karak. At the core of Karak Hirn lies the inner citadel, known as the Great Kinhall, which serves as the main entrance to the hold. Towering double doors, 20 feet high and 10 feet wide, mark the entrance. Ironbreakers ever vigilant stand guard during daylight hours for most of the year, though the gates are sealed in winter or times of war. With a vaulted ceiling rising 40 feet, supported by massive stone pillars, the hall is as defensible as it is grand. A low stone wall serves to delay any potential invaders, while smaller double doors at the far end lead deeper into the hold, protected by iron breakers. A rope and pulley system in the northwest corner connects to the engineer's guildhall above, allowing quick access between levels. The hall of the inner citadel serves several vital purposes. First and foremost, the inner citadel is a military martial area, where the dwarf hold's army gathers in times of war. High priests of Grunny and Valaya offer blessings to the warriors, while elders recount the heroic deeds of their ancestors to inspire the troops before battle. Next, the hall doubles as a gathering place for feasts, holy days, and royal addresses. Fire pits along the east wall roast food for these grand celebrations, where every craft guild contributes to the festivities. Patrols of ironbreakers ensure the hall's security at all times. Lastly, every 10 days, a market is held here, drawing people from nearby villages and mining camps to trade goods and provisions. The Hall of Clans, Throngkars. The Hall of Clans is the largest chamber in Karak Hirn, is a bustling hub of dwarfen life. It is here that the various craft guilds reside and work, including armorers, weaponsmiths, artisans, brewers, healers, jewelsmiths, metalsmiths, miners, stonemasons, and warriors. Each guild maintains its own quarters, while large communal kinhalls serve as gathering places for meals and socialization. These kinhalls are often richly decorated, with the wealth and prestige of a guild measured by the opulence of its hall and the quality of its feasts. The hall is not only a centre of craft, but also of defence, with 4 stairways leading up to towers perched on the mountainside, from where dwarf warriors rotate guard duties. The Hall of Runesmiths. Next is the Hall of Runesmiths. A rune lord rules over a quiet, industrious domain. Rune scribes and runesmiths live and work here, crafting the potent runes that power much of dwarfen technology and magic. The workshops, located in a secure chamber, are protected to ensure that the work of these master artisans remains secret and uninterrupted. A shrine to Thungni stands within the hall, and behind it lies the crypt where the ancestors of the runesmiths rest. The Hall of Lore Masters. Also known as the Library of Karak Hirn, the Hall of Lore Masters is an 8-level repository of knowledge. With an open atrium and a spiral staircase connecting each floor, the hall is overseen by Chief Librarian. The Lore Masters here dedicate themselves to the study of history, science, religion, and other fields. At the heart of this hall lies a secret chamber, the Master Lore Master's Sanctuary, protected by walls of lead and iron where the most dangerous and forbidden lore is sealed away. Deceased lore masters are entombed within the library behind the very scrolls and books they once dedicated their lives to studying. The Hall of Temples. This grand hall, illuminated by natural light filtered through quartz lenses set into the western wall, is a testament to dwarfen devotion. The vaulted ceiling rises 50 feet, and the hall houses 4 temples, each dedicated to one of the ancestor gods. Temple of Grungni. The largest and most lavishly decorated temple, it portrays scenes from ancient dwarfen myths. Temple of Valaya. Known for its statues of Valaya in both peaceful and warlike forms, this temple is led by an influential high priestess. Temple of Grimnir. Dedicated to the fearsome deeds of Grimnir, particularly his legendary battle with the dragon Magno-Athax, this temple is presided over by a high priest that is usually conservative and a staunch defender of tradition. Temple of Gazul. This smaller, more somber temple is devoted to Gazul, the ancestor god of the dead. It houses an altar and a bier for the deceased, with a passage leading directly to the Hall of Tombs. The Hall of Tombs, descending over 20 levels beneath the mountain, the Hall of Tombs is the final resting place for Karak Hirn's kings, queens, nobles, and priests. The uppermost levels are reserved for royalty, while lower levels house the remains of the noble clans. A high priest oversees this sacred hall, where miners and stonemasons continue to excavate new tombs. Priests of Gazul maintain a vigilant watch over the tombs, constantly renewing protective runes and guarding against the ever-present threat of Skaven or night goblin intrusions. The Hall of Kings. One of the most majestic chambers in Karak Hirn is the Hall of Kings, with a vaulted ceiling soaring 50 feet above. Pillars carved with intricate bas-reliefs of the hold's early rulers line the hall, narrating the triumphs of Karak Hirn's ancestors. This hall is both a symbol of royal authority and the central seat of governance. At the southern end, 3 jewel-encrusted thrones rest upon a raised dais. Here, the King Alric Ranulfsson, Queen Winifred Flaxenhair, and Prince Eric Alricsson preside over court, issuing decrees and hearing petitions. Behind the dais, doors lead to the private quarters of the royal family and the council chambers. Secret doors are hidden within the hall, giving access to a spiral staircase that winds up to the mountain's peak, serving as an escape route in the event of a siege, the underpasture. The Hall of the Underpasture functions as a stable for livestock during severe weather or siege, housing animals brought from the farmer village. Narrow shafts in the ceiling provide sunlight and fresh air, cleverly designed to prevent the buildup of dangerous gases. This hall also contains Karak Hirn's granaries, where vast stores of food are kept in case of emergency. The South Mines, Jorn Negrundi. The South Mines, one of the two massive mining operations within Karak Hirn, extend hundreds of feet into the depths of the mountain. Access to these vast tunnels is managed by lifts powered by both mules and steam, ensuring a steady flow of ore and materials to the surface. Dwarfen metalsmiths, engineers and miners labour tirelessly here, smelting ore and maintaining their equipment on site, their work driven by the hold's insatiable demand for resources. Many miners call the South Mines their home, venturing to the Hall of Clans only for festivals and significant occasions. Tunnel fighters, sturdy dwarf warriors skilled in underground combat, patrol these deep caverns, ever watchful for threats lurking in the shadows of the earth. The West Mines, Zorn Nagrak. Larger than their southern counterpart, the West Mines operate under a similar structure, but boast even deeper reaches and broader tunnels. A stone bridge, spanning a yawning chasm, connects the rest of Karak Hirn to the merchant halls. This crucial route, guarded day and night, ensures that the wealth drawn from the mines can be safely transported and traded. The merchant halls, Vithang Kazi. Visitors arriving via the mighty quarter-mile bridge find themselves at the imposing bronze and iron doors of the merchant halls. These doors, towering 20 feet high, remain open during the day, save for the fiercest of storms. Upon reaching the sentries, newcomers must present their writ of passage and provide personal details, including their name, birthplace, occupation, father's name, and lineage, as well as the nature of their business within the hold. First-time visitors are also subjected to a thorough search of their person and goods.
A bit gentler, you beardship.
Beyond these gates lies the grand expanse of the main merchant hall, an 80-foot wide and 600-foot-long chamber, its vaulted ceiling supported by intricately carved granite columns. Natural light filters in through a series of shafts and quartz mirrors, casting a bright, otherworldly glow across the bustling marketplace. Here, dwarfs engage in lengthy bartering sessions, their preference for trade over coins still reigning supreme. When coins do change hands, their worth is measured not by their face value, but by their metallic content. Dwarfs weigh and inspect each coin with meticulous care. Trading usually ceases at sunset, but it often extends into the night for those with pressing business. Smaller adjoining halls provide lodging, stables, and warehouses for merchants. Taverns serve hearty meals and ales, though the finest dwarfen brews are reserved for deeper within the hold. The fortified stone doors leading to the rest of Karak Hirn stand under the vigilant guard of iron breakers, and only resident dwarfs or trusted outsiders, known as Dawikoni, are permitted to pass. Foreign dignitaries must wait here in the merchant or emissary hall until granted an audience with the king.
I am the Senior Adjunct Junior Emissary of Ostland, and I request to speak with your king about the tariffs levied on our salted beef. Post haste.
Grab a pillow. It'll be a while before you meet anyone you require about your matter. At least the pillow will stave off some of the sores from the sitting.
Outsiders may only enter the dwarf hold by invitation from a high-ranking dwarf and must be escorted at all times. Weapons and personal items are confiscated at the threshold. The merchant halls of Karak Hirn, though bustling with activity and trade, remain steeped in tradition and tightly controlled, offering outsiders a rare glimpse into the proud and guarded world of the dwarfs. The merchant halls contain a variety of inns, shops, halls, and administrative institutions that the average visitor would be privy to. We will not be examining all of them, but we will go through a few places of note. The constabulary. Maintaining order within the merchant halls is the duty of the constabulary. A team of 15 constables patrols the halls, arresting those suspected of crimes. Beneath their headquarters are 20 cramped cells, where the accused awaits swift justice, as trials in Karak Hirn are typically held within days of arrest. Rune scribes hold special authority to investigate crimes that lack clear witnesses, with the power to seal off the merchant halls to prevent suspects from fleeing. Bran Muffin's Eatery. Operated by the enterprising halfling Siggy Bran Muffin, this eatery enjoys considerable popularity despite its high prices, particularly for imported wines. The ales served here are brewed by the Svegan clan, though Siggy is also known to be involved in a smuggling network.
Oh, aye. I can provide you with some of the harder-to-come-by items, but it'll cost ya.
His family assists in both the legitimate business of the restaurant and the illicit operations, though Siggy carefully steers clear of the darker aspects of the trade, such as slavery. The Hall of Guilds. The Hall of Guilds is the governing body of the merchant halls, overseen by dwarfs from the Artisan Craft Guild and prominent human residents. This hall regulates business and resolves disputes, ensuring the smooth operation of the marketplace. All visitors to the merchant halls must sign in and out at this location, providing an added layer of security. The Golden Nugget. The Golden Nugget, now under the control of the Gambino family from Miragliano, is a notorious gambling hall, once owned by the Bortak clan. Within its walls, games of chance abound. Cards, dice and roulette draw in hopefuls and risk-takers alike. But for those who lose more than they can afford, fate takes a darker turn. Debtors face grim choices: arrest, forced labor, or a perilous meeting with Alphonse, Scarface, Gambino's enforcers, from which few return.
This is the last finger my associate will break before we take a break for a short reprieve. After which we will resume the discussion, continuing with your toast and whatever else can be hefted to. Unless you can hand over what's owed.
Alphonse, always flanked by 3 loyal bodyguards, oversees the establishment with ruthless efficiency. Despite the change in ownership, the Bortak clan continues to supply ale to the Golden Nugget, holding an exclusive contract in exchange for a portion of the profits. The cuisine, a mix of Tilean and imperial dishes, ensures that patrons are well fed between rounds of gambling, though the true currency of this hall is fortune itself. The Backdoor Inn, Kazag Runki. The Backdoor Inn, owned by the Kurz clan of the Brewer Craft Guild, stands as a favoured haunt for dwarf merchants travelling through the market. Its hearty meals, a traditional dwarfen fare skillfully spiced to complement the renowned Kurz Brown Bitter Ale, draws in locals and visitors alike. Adamp Kurz manages the inn, with his wife Grunny tending the kitchen. Clan members make up most of the staff, creating a close-knit, familial atmosphere that keeps many visiting dwarfs returning to its doors. The Hall of Shrines, Kaz-Jarazi. This solemn hall houses shrines to a variety of gods revered across the Empire and Tilea, save for the prescribed deities like Ranald, Hecate, and Cain, as well as any gods of chaos. Each shrine is carefully maintained by Frida Waldheim, priestess of Tal, and Manfred Hittorf, of the cult of Mor.
Grieve not, for your wife and child have been saved by Mor.
In this sacred space, no one god receives greater reverence than another, as each shrine is equal in size and prominence. Near the hall's centre, the shrine to Mor holds particular significance, marking the passage to the catacombs beneath, where the dead are interred. The priestess of Tal oversees the observance of holy days for the various cults that worship within these hallowed halls. Such are the merchant halls of Karak Hirn, an eclectic mixture of races, cultures, beliefs and dealings that intermingle and create a unique and vibrant scene. Though bustling with activity and trade, the merchant halls remain steeped in tradition and tightly controlled, offering outsiders a rare glimpse into the proud and guarded world of the dwarfs. The last place on our itinerary is the Emissary Hall, Batskami Kars, located adjacent to the bustling merchant halls, serves as the residence for ambassadors from neighboring realms. The lodgings, carved from solid bedrock, are vast, yet lack separation between them, creating a unique blend of luxury and shared space. Shafts carved into the walls allow filtered light and air into these stone mansions, providing a stark but effective comfort. Watch patrols of dwarfs and Dawikoni ensure order, particularly during visits from elven dignitaries. While ambassadors themselves are granted leniency for minor transgressions, their entourages are subject to the full weight of dwarfen justice, often resulting in exile for even the slightest offences. As with the merchant halls, we will briefly explore some of the embassies that have been established here from various great and minor powers. Embassy of Karak Izor. Roanik Malakson, a seasoned ambassador, has represented Karak Izor in Karak Hirn for the past 80 years. His long tenure has granted him full access to the dwarf hold, allowing him to attend council meetings as needed. Roanik, well respected among his peers, serves as the voice of his homehold in all significant matters. Imperial Embassy. Baron Rainer von Bildhofen, the current Imperial Ambassador, has held his position for 5 years, having succeeded his father. However, Rainer's dedication to duty is questionable at best, as he spends more time indulging in the delights of the Golden Nugget than attending to the Dwarf King's court. His fondness for gambling and carousing has not gone unnoticed, though it has yet to draw official reprimand. Wissenland Embassy. Baron Erich von Oms represents the interests of Wissenland, particularly those of Grand Countess Emanuel von Liebowitz of Nuln. His primary goal is securing favorable trade agreements for Wissenland, even at the expense of the Empire's broader interests. Baron Erich enjoys a cordial relationship with Prince Erak, often acting as a liaison between Karak Hirn and the elves of Athel Loren. Miragliano Embassy. Count Giuseppe di Cosimo, the rotund and jovial diplomat from Miragliano, is thrilled to be far from the deadly intrigues of his homeland. He spends his days enjoying Chilean cuisine at Frau Blucher's, gambling at the Golden Nugget, or visiting Bardin's winery to stock his cellar with the finest spiced wines.
I miss my homeland immensely. However, my duties come first, as befits my station, for the greater good of my city and the people. But even I succumb to the yearning of the familiar, hence why I often visit the merchant halls, to see, to smell, and to taste something of home, but also something new.
A man of simple pleasures, Count Giuseppe is happy to leave the more dangerous politics of Tilea behind him, as he indulges in the luxuries of Karak Hirn. And thus, we saw a glimpse of how these embassies and their peculiar ambassadors form a patchwork of foreign presence within Karak Hirn, each with its own ambitions, indulgences, and unique place within the intricate web of dwarfen diplomacy. Thank you for watching this in-depth exploration of the Kingdom of Karak Hirn. I hope the information was entertaining as it was informative, and that it shed new light on how a dwarfen hold operates and the daily goings-on that occur in dwarf holds throughout the old world. A very special mention goes to Alfred Nunez Jr. for creating the work Into the Hornburg, from which much of the information was used when writing the script for this video, and to a personal friend of mine, Apologus, who happily offered to breathe life with his voice to some of the characters you heard in the video. Links in the descriptions below in case you wish to explore the catalogue of their respective works. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, a comment, and if particularly appreciative, subscribe to this channel. Thank you once more, till we meet again